Mr. Potty's hedge. Mr. Potty went outside and looked at his hedge. It had grown too tall. It needed to be cut. Mr. Potty went into his garden shed. He found his ladder. He found his chainsaw. One by one, he took them outside. He climbed up the ladder. He started up the chainsaw and cut along the top of the hedge. "It's crooked," called out his neighbor. Mr. Potty cut some more. "It's still crooked," yelled out the other neighbor. Mr. Potty turned off the chainsaw. He climbed down from the ladder and took a look. The top of the hedge looked like a wiggling worm. "Oh dear," said Mr. Potty. At this time, when he went into the garden shed, he picked up a pair of hand clippers. He picked up an old wooden chair too. Then Mr. Potty went back to the hedge. Then he climbed onto the wooden chair. He clipped along the top of the hedge. "It's full of spikes," called out his neighbor. Mr. Potty cut some more. Faster and faster went the hand clippers. "It's still full of spikes," yelled out his other neighbor. Mr. Potty jumped off the chair and took a look. The top of the hedge looked like a spiky hedgehog. "Oh dear," said Mr. Potty. Mr. Potty went back into his shed. He found a pair of garden scissors and a wooden step. Then he went back to the hedge. He climbed onto the step and started to work. "It's a mess," called out his neighbor. "It's a big mess," yelled out his other neighbor. Mr. Potty took no notice. When he had finished, he hopped off the step and looked at the hedge. He smiled. It was perfect. The end.